My name is Carol, and I'm excited to be sharing some tips with you about how to make math come alive for the children that you take care of. Math is all around us. It's in the stories you read, it's in the songs you sing, it's in block play and water table play, it's in the games you play together. We think like mathematicians every day. We persevere to solve complex problems. We collaborate with friends and coworkers, learning from their different perspectives. We look up at our mistakes not as a failure to stop the process, but rather as more information about how we can go about solving a problem. After all, we often learn more from our mistakes than we do from our successes. So math is all around us, and children are natural mathematicians. They are curious, they ask questions, they do experiments and modify those experiments to see what else might happen. They are doing math every day. They just need the grown-ups around them to talk to them about what they notice their children doing, so that kids can get a fuller understanding of what mathematics is, and they can understand how joyful math can be and how much fun it can be. So we're going to talk a little bit about I'm going to give you a few examples of what math talk during your day might look like. So sometimes you're actually going to plan an activity that's designed to teach kids a particular math concept, such as counting. So it might look like this. You might do a flannel board with raindrops. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little raindrops, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little raindrops, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little raindrops, 10 little, 11 little, 12 little raindrops, 13 little, 14 little, 15 little raindrops, 16 little, 17 little, 18 little raindrops, 19 little, 20 little, 21 little raindrops, 22 little raindrops falling from the sky. So I designed this so it doesn't match up with the song perfectly, because I wanted you to understand that when you're counting with kids, you need to try and count to at least 20 as frequently as you can, because kids get confused around 11, 12, 13. So find lots and lots of opportunities for counting up to at least 20. You might also use your circle time, your story time, for teaching kids a concept like counting. And maybe the book is actually designed for kids to count things like Everyone Counts. This is just a great book for teaching how to be a friend, but it also gives you lots of opportunities to stop along the way and count things that they see on the page, like all of these wonderful insects. But sometimes the book doesn't have anything to do with counting, really. It's a book like Jabari Jumps, about a little boy who's going off the high dive for the first time, and how scary that feels, but how excited he is to have Dad there to help him. And when you come to the page where Jabari's about to go out on his own and climb that ladder to go off the high dive, you can stop and ask the kids, so what would you do if you were Jabari? Would you hurry on up the ladder and get up there as fast as you can and then run down and jump before you even really realize that you've done it? Or would you go slow and steady all the way up? So if they were someone who would go really fast, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm here, run, 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 and jump. And if there's someone who can go slow, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slowly walk out to the end. And like Jabari, think, maybe tomorrow would be a good day to jump. And then they'd have to go on back down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 down. So counting can happen in a variety of ways, just like math is all around us. And sometimes it happens naturally in your classroom, like when you're lining up to go outside to play. It's likely that you count the kids before you go out to see how many are there. So just show the kids that that's what you're going to do. We're going to count and see how many kids are in our line. And be sure you point to each child, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till you get to Rachel here at the end of the line, and she's number 15. No more kids are going outside with us, so that means that there are 15 kids going outside, because we said 15 when we got to Rachel. So kids understand that counting is about finding a quantity. Sometimes when you line up to go outside, you might decide to count in a little bit different way. Maybe you want the kids to understand what position they are in line. So you would count first, second, third, fourth, until you get to Rachel, who's 15th. So that kids can be, if you do this frequently enough, kids will have a great understanding of both cardinal and ordinal numbers. And that's an important concept for kids to have when they're headed off to kindergarten. Measurements are also an important part of what we want to make sure kids are understanding. So find lots of opportunities in your classroom to do some measuring. Maybe it'll happen when you're doing block play together, and you'll measure how many blocks it takes to go across the room, or you can lay down on the floor and let the kids guess, how many blocks tall do you think I am? And let them figure it out by putting blocks down and measuring you, so that they get the idea of what measurement is all about. But measurement has different meanings. Sometimes it happens when you're preparing snack for the kids, and you need to measure how much water is going to go into the drink that you're making that day. So you can just let the kids help you. Say, we need 3 cups, help me count. 1, 2, 3, and then let somebody count how many kids there are that are going to enjoy snack with you that day, so they can count up enough cups for everyone to have a cup while they're measuring. Sometimes measuring happens when you're doing something with just one child. Maybe you are about to go over and wash hands to get ready for snacks, and somebody's there with you, and you can say, how many steps do you think it's going to take for us to get from here to the sink? And let them estimate how many steps it might take, and then actually count how many steps it takes you to get over the sink. So once again, math is all around you. It's already embedded in the things that you're doing. You just need to use math talk to make it come alive for those children, so that they really understand what math is and what those math concepts are. Geometry and shapes are another area that kids will need to know before they head off to kindergarten. So blocks are a great way to do that too, because you can talk about shapes. So what shapes did you use to build that tower that you have? What if we wanted to build a tower as high as we can, what shapes do you think we should use to build them? What shapes would stack the best? Should we use circles? Or should we use squares or triangles? What do you think would be best for stacking? And ask them about the shapes that are around them. And what if you want to roll something down a ramp? What shape would be the best for rolling? So lots of opportunity to talk about shapes in a variety of ways that kids are using and something they're already doing. And maybe while you're there on the floor, you notice that someone shared their car with another child that was on the floor. So you can walk over and say, thanks for sharing. I love that you had 3 cars, and you notice that Aiden only had 1 car. So you gave 1 car to Aiden. How many cars did you have left? Yeah, 2. 3, take away 1 is 2. And how many cars does Aiden have now? Yeah, also 2, because 1 plus 1 is 2. So now you both have the same number. So that's an exciting thing to do. If you're getting ready to go outside and it's really cold, talk to the kids about how we're going to put our 2 arms into our 2 sleeves, so they really get the idea of what quantity means, what 2 is, and they understand what 2-ness is. If you're having kids over for circle time, that's a great time to talk about those shapes. You can talk about how we're sitting in a circle, and Susie is next to Brian, so they have some spatial relationship language. Mary is next to Susie, and maybe there's some kids behind, and you can point that out. Or you can say, hey, as I'm sitting here getting ready to read this book, I noticed that one of our cars is under the table. So they get the idea of those spatial relationship vocabulary. So have fun as you're taking care of those children, and remember that math is all around us, and that math talk makes that come alive for children. So be sure that you're talking to those children to help them to better understand those concepts. Thanks.